Yo, what's up everybody? Jumpin' here, and I am back on some Destiny 2, and today I got the legendary Summer Solstice armor for the Warlock, and I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some of my strategies that I used to actually get this armor very quickly. It only took me less than a day to do it, and a lot of it is grindy, that's for sure. All the armor are very grindy, but there are certain things that will save you a lot of time if you do them in certain orders, and/or if you just implement certain strategies to help you get a lot of the kills that you need for the blue armor. Now, I already made another video for the Titan, and I talked about what I did to help me get that Titan armor in less than one day, but I need to kind of repeat a couple things, especially about the green armor, just because a lot of people might not have seen that particular video. So I apologize if you have seen that video and you're just interested in what to do for the Warlock. If you already know what to do for the green armor, you can probably skip ahead in this video and go ahead and just listen to what I have to say about the blue armor, because that's probably the most important part. But the green armor is universal. The strategy that I recommend for the green armor is going to be the same for the Hunter, the Titan, and the Warlock. What you want to do is you want to start by doing the missions. Now, as you do the missions, you want to go ahead and put on the subclass that is tied to the EDZ orb collection. And in the case of the Warlock, that was the Voidwalker. So you want to do that until you complete the orb collection, and you're also killing two birds with one stone because you're doing the missions as well. You're going to want to keep the Voidwalker until you complete both the general orb collection for Void and also the EDZ Void orb collection. Once you're done with that, immediately swap over to the Solar class, and if you're on a Hunter, it's going to be something different, and a Titan, it will be something different. But in the case of the Warlock, you want to swap over to the Solar class because that is the other general orb collection that you need to do for the Warlock. Once you have completed all the missions, you should be done with the Void Orb collection, but if you're not, you can always just go ahead and get those by doing anything. It doesn't matter what activity you need if you're working on the Warlock bond. It requires 90 Void Orbs for the EDZ collection, and it requires 150 Void Orbs for the Warlock bond. But once you're done with that, use the Solar class because that's the other general collection class, and that's for the Solar Orbs. Go ahead and do the heroic publics and also do the patrols. Now, you don't need to complete the heroic publics, but I would recommend doing that just to get those solar orbs out of the way. And that is the same as well for the other classes. If you're curious, just need to do the other general collection, whatever it might be, whatever element it is. Then what you would do is go ahead and start up strikes. If you have a group of friends to do that with, that is perfect. Once you're doing the strikes, don't do the strikes. That's really what I have to say. Try to get the EDZ or Nessus, and if you do, look on the map for publics, and if you can find Glimmer extractions and you farm that, especially if everyone is using the same subclass, you're going to get so many orbs, it's going to be ridiculous. You can easily complete that within maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, and that is just by farming the public events, especially Glimmer extractions. So it is phenomenal. Once you have finished the orb collection, then you can move on to Crucible. Save Crucible for last. If you can play with a group of friends, it will make it a lot better. Although, if you're not very good at PvP, you might be stuck on that step for a while. But if you finish your super kills before your friends do, you can go and get the blue armor, and then actually start working on the blue armor at that point. You can get some small percentages for the blue armor, but the main thing is you want to get the 5 Crucible wins to get that out the way, and then you can actually start working on the blue armor. Now that is the important part, and that's the main thing I want to show in gameplay today, because I didn't record any of my gameplay as I was getting the armor. But now I do want to show some of the strategies I used for the blue armor, because a couple of those things were pretty intimidating. I thought, man, this is going to take forever. I was looking up different ways to cheese it. I was told a couple things, they did not work. But I came up with my own strategy, and I actually blew through it. It was super easy, just like the Titan. I thought the Titan might be kind of hard too, but the Titan was really easy as well. And I believe the Hunter is easy if you know what to do. It's all about your strategy and what you're going to do. Now, I don't remember exactly what piece of armor needs what objective, but I do remember all the objectives, so I'm going to quickly run through them. What I recommend starting off with is go to the Stormcaller, And once you're on the Stormcaller, use the bottom skill tree. The bottom skill tree is awesome, primarily just because of Rising Storm. This is an awesome melee, and there's a couple other things we're going to do with that because that's very important. But you're going to have to get 200 arc super kills. So you're going to want to use your arc super as much as you can to clear as many enemies as you can to get that done. But you want to do this as you're just playing. You're going to be doing the other things as well, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's going to save you a lot of time. I do not recommend going out there to farm the arc super kills, because if you are just using your arc super when you have it and you're playing with friends, just call it out. Say, I'm going to super this room, and then you can super the next room, and I'll get your orbs, and then the other guy can super the next room after that, and then we'll both get your orbs, and you share orbs. It's a really easy way of getting that done. Now, the next thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to also get void energy weapon kills and also solar power weapon kills. That is extremely easy, especially as you're playing through the missions, or if you're doing the adventures or whatever you're doing. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone once again. And I recommend the Graviton Lance. Awesome weapon, one of the best weapons in the entire game in my opinion. This will make it so easy to get the void energy weapon kills. And if you have a shotgun, you don't have to have the Escalation Protocol shotgun, but any decent shotgun, put the solar element on it. You get a lot of ammo, so you can easily get the 80 power weapon kills, because that's all it is. It's just 80. So if you're just using this to kill enemies and picking up ammo, you'll get that done very quickly. And that is the same as well. It might take a little bit longer for the void energy weapon kills, but you will get this done as you're doing all the other objectives, like the adventures, like the heroic strikes, and also the mission. Now, another thing that you have to do is the Nightfall, so be sure to get that done whenever you want. But one thing that's actually kind of important, and it's up to you on how you want to do it. Do you want to get the void energy weapon kills right away? Because I'm fairly confident that the void energy weapon kills is associated with the helmet, and that is important because there's something I want to talk about for a strategy that you can use to get the arc melees done. That is probably the worst thing. It's going to take the most time because you have to get 60 arc melees, and the melee has to be fully charged and it has to kill enemies. I thought that was going to take forever, but it honestly did not take that long. I recommend going for the arc melee kills when you're doing the adventures, because if you haven't done your adventures yet, you can do low level adventures and you can go ahead and patrol the different planets, and all the enemies there are fairly weak. So your arc melee should be killing them in 1 melee. And if they are a little bit stronger, you might have to shoot them a couple times and then melee them. But honestly, it shouldn't be that bad as long as you're doing it while you're patrolling those planets, doing those adventures. It's really not that hard. And if you have already completed all your adventures, if you have a friend who hasn't, see if your friend wants to play with you so that you can do those low-level, easy adventures. And a lot of them on the EDZ and on Titan are very quick. You can get them done very, very fast. And as you're doing them, you're going to be working on your arc melees. That's the main thing. And of course, you're also going to be working on your arc super kills, because you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, what I recommend, this is the main crucial thing, and this is why it's kind of important to complete the void energy weapon kills early on, or just save that for later, is because you're going to swap your helmet out for the Crown of Tempest. This thing is awesome. Another thing you're going to want to do with the blue armor, I don't currently have that just because I have the purple armor now, and this is unfortunate because when you do turn your blue armor into the purple armor, it's going to take away any mods you put in that armor, so you're going to waste them. I recommend using blue mods if you're going to mod the armor. But I do recommend modding the armor, because what you want to do is put arc melees will recharge faster into the helmet, into the gloves, and into the Warlock bond. So if you have that, mod your armor, because it's going to help you a lot. Your melee is going to come back so much faster if you triple stack arc cooldown for the melee. Now on the other 2 pieces, I recommend putting solar melee into the chest and solar melee into the boots. That's going to come into play later when we're doing the grenade kills and that's also something that I thought would potentially take a long time, but it was very easy and very quick. So now I'm going to go to a lost sector, and I'm going to show you guys what I was doing for both the arc melee and for the solar grenade kills, because if you do these strategies, you will blow through them in no time. Remember though, when it comes to the arc melees, I was doing them as I was doing the adventures, and by the time that I finished the adventures, I was long done. So it did not take me very long to get those arc melee kills because I was using the Crown of Tempest. And also the Crown of Tempest will help you with the arc super kills as well, because the Crown of Tempest will actually extend your duration of your arc super. If you're using the top skill tree, you can get a ridiculous length on your super, but we don't really want to do that because we're also going for arc melees. And Rising Storm is really important to help us get that arc melee back a lot faster and to help us get our grenade back. So now I'm going to cut this ahead. I'm going to go to the lost sector, and I'm going to show you my strategy that I use to get the solar grenade kills and also the arc melee kills. Alrighty guys, well I'm in the lost sector on Mars. I'm in the Braytech area, and I'm going to be doing the lost sector with all the hive in it. Now this is an excellent spot for farming your solar grenade kills, but when it comes to the arc melee kills, once again, I recommend just doing that as you're doing the adventures. You should be able to get it done as you're doing those adventures, no problem. Now one thing that I am using is the Crown of Tempest, which I brought up earlier. But I went ahead and put my mods back in, so now I am triple stacking arc melee cooldown, and that is very important. And I also have solar melee cooldown in the boots and the chest piece, and that's going to be important for my solar grenade strategy that I'm going to show next. Now what you want to do with this setup is if you come across an enemy that you're not sure you're going to kill with your melee in one melee, shoot them first to weaken them, and then go for the melee. And then once you have your conductor perk going, throw a grenade and try to get the ×3 conductor perk from the Crown of Tempest. And if you watch my melee, look how fast that comes back. Now I can go ahead and do it again. And by the time that this goes away, I should actually have my grenade back, which I'm going to lose the conductor perk. But I have the ×3 again. And I can just repeat that over and over again until I complete my arc melee challenge. That is what you do. You just run around through the adventures or just general gameplay, and you do that. You could always farm a lost sector if you really want to, but it's something I don't recommend. Now the Crown of Tempest is also amazing for getting you super kills. So that is something else you can use the Crown of Tempest for, is helping you get super kills, because when you actually use your super, once you get the conductor perk going, your super is going to last so long. It is absolutely ridiculous on how long it can actually last if you can keep the conductor perk going. You can see it now. This super is lasting so much longer, and you can go into certain lost sectors with a lot of enemies and pretty much wipe out the entire lost sector with the super. You can actually get about 15 to 20% of the overall super kills by going to certain lost sectors, using your super, and then killing every enemy in that lost sector. A good example of that would be the one on Mercury, is very good with all the Vex. The ones with all the hives, like the one in the rig that I've shown in the Titan video, and this one as well on Mars in the Braytech area. You can get your super kills done so quick by using the Crown of Tempest and getting that conductor perk and getting that extra duration. So it is amazing, and it will also help you get your arc melee kills as well, which is of course very important, and that is just awesome. The Crown of Tempest is amazing. I definitely recommend using it for when you're doing your objectives, because it does not matter if you don't have all the pieces on. You only need the pieces on that you need to complete that objective for. So whatever objective you're working on, just have that one piece on, or 2 pieces, or 3 pieces. But normally, I would recommend just using the Crown of Tempest, and then have the 4 pieces of blue armor. That's completely fine. Alrighty guys, well I'm going to go ahead and swap over to my solar setup, and I'm going to show you what to do for actually getting the solar grenade kills. But I'm going to cut this ahead because I need to swap it, and I'm also going to let my powers cool down before I run back into the Lost Sector to show you how you can easily get the solar grenade kills done in probably like 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes or 10 minutes at the most. It is pretty crazy. Alrighty guys, well I have my setup now for the solar grenade kills, and what you're going to want to do is make the AC-130 build. This build is just awesome for doing this. You're going to need the sun bracers. Anytime that you actually get a melee kill, it will give you an unlimited amount of solar grenades for a brief period. Now, these do not stack damage for the damage over time, but they will do impact damage, and if you throw them everywhere, you're going to get a ton of kills once you have this perk going. And if you want to make this even better, you do want to use the AC-130 build, which is the Skyburner's Oath. If you have this weapon, it's amazing because you jump in the air and you can hip fire it and the bullets will track, and that is awesome. A rocket launcher or a grenade launcher is an excellent choice for this, just because once you jump in the air, you shoot the rocket, get multiple kills. And the reason why jumping in the air is important is because we can go ahead and use the top skill tree. Now with the top skill tree, you have this perk called Heat Rises, which is airborne kills will recharge your grenade and melee energy. So what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to want to go into a Lost Sector. I would definitely say the one on Titan in the rig, or this particular one, is probably your best choice, just because of all the thralls and all of the hive and how easy it can be. But you also want to do the same thing as you did before with the arc melee. Make sure that before you go for the melee, make sure the enemy is weakened so that you will get the kill. Once you have the perk going, jump in the air and fly and start throwing your grenades. And as you can see, I already have my melee back. So what that means is I can go ahead and melee again and repeat the whole process over again. Try to get as many kills as I can. And I'm going to save that one solar grenade I have because there's going to be a spawn of enemies over here. And I'm going to try to get my melee back for the next room. Well, we just throw that down and try to stay airborne if we can, which I'm failing at. But I almost have my melee back. I should get it back before I actually need to use it. Another thing you can do is also pop your super. If you use your super, that will instantly restore your melee and your grenade. So that is something else you can do. Let's go ahead and get the melee kill. And now we can start throwing all of the grenades. The problem with the Lost Sectors is that my head is bouncing off of the ceiling here. So that is unfortunate because it's knocking me down and I'm not staying airborne. But if you need to, you can always just jump in the air and start shooting with the Skyburner's Oath. And this is an excellent weapon at getting you airborne kills because you can hip fire it. But as you can see, there's a lot of enemies in here, and it's very, very easy to throw your grenades and get a ton of grenade kills by doing this. And then once you're done, all you have to do is just leave the Lost Sector, run out of it, teleport out of it, whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't even need to kill the big boss if you don't want to. You can just legitly run out of it and you will be done. Alrighty guys, well that's going to pretty much do it for the video. I wanted to make this video just to help anybody out there who wanted to get this armor quickly, or if they wanted to know some secrets or strategies to use to help you get the armor quickly, because I know a lot of people don't want to grind for it. They want to get it as quickly as possible, and I was able to get it in maybe 8 to 9 hours of playing. It wasn't very hard. It was a lot of grinding, that's for sure. That's just the way it is. But I was able to get past the blue armor, and it was very easy. So a lot of these strategies I think are excellent, especially for getting the arc melee kills, getting the super kills, and also getting the solar grenade kills. Now I do hope that you guys will take a second to drop a like on the video. It helps me out. I really do appreciate it. And also you can spread the word to your friends. If you know someone who's working on the Warlock armor and they don't know what they're going to do, tell them to watch this video, and hopefully they can learn something and they can get through the armor really quickly so that they don't have to grind for hours and hours and hours. That's really the whole point of the video. I just want to help people get the armor quicker because I know everybody wants it as soon as possible and they don't want to wait a month to actually grind it out, because technically I guess you're supposed to take a month to grind out all 3 of the classes, which is pretty crazy because I'm already done. I'm done with the Hunter, the Titan, and the Warlock. And I've done that in just 3 days, so I've been grinding like crazy, haven't got much sleep, but hey, you gotta get the armor, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. I want it as soon as possible because I think the armor is absolutely awesome, and it's definitely my new favorite armor sets in the entire game. I like it for all 3 classes. I would also appreciate it if you guys would subscribe for future videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.